South Florida stepping up after Ian with rescues and resources. A photographer dropping his camera during a live shot.
We're just helping some people through the water here. That's our camera operator.
To help hurricane victims. Plus, the president with plans to visit victims in Southwest Florida and Puerto Rico.
We owe Puerto Rico a hell of a lot more than they've already got.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Julian Davis. Today's Monday, October 3rd, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
After Ian, help coming from the Miami area for hurricane victims in Southwest Florida. Miami-Dade task forces have made rescue efforts after Hurricane Ian's impact on the barrier islands of Sanibel and Captiva.
Florida Task Force 1 with members from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue are going door to door, checking on residents along with Florida's National Guard team to evacuate stranded families in these devastated areas from inaccessible due to obstructed roadways.
We have trained specialists for any kind of emergency we run into at this point, and we're just trying to help as best as we can.
Back in Fort Myers, the city's government and fire department, as well as Coral Gables and Miami Shores Police, distributed water and food yesterday.
Other help coming from a celebrity chef with the South Beach restaurant. Chef Jose Andres and his charity, World Central Kitchen, handed out meals to residents in Sanibel on Friday. The area was largely affected by Hurricane Ian. Andres continues to use his resources to feed hard-hit communities throughout Florida.
An Australian cameraman became news after helping others during Hurricane Ian. While doing a live shot in Naples last week, Wednesday, photojournalist Glenn Ellis rushed into action after seeing Floridians struggling in the background. Ellis made several trips to gather the belongings of the residents that they were carrying in the water. Thankfully, no one was injured, and once everybody was safe, Ellis continued rolling.
President Biden scheduled to visit hurricane victims in Southwest Florida this week, but as CNN's Ivan Rodriguez reports, not before visiting Fiona victims in Puerto Rico today.
Sunday, cleanup crews in Fort Myers could be seen removing debris on the start of a long road to recovery following Hurricane Ian's deadly path. More than 800,000 customers in Florida are still without power as of Sunday, and emergency rescue crews went door to door looking for survivors.
While we certainly hope that we can continue to find more people alive and bring them out, we're going to support the state in their needs as we continue to go house by house and make sure that everybody's accounted for.
Meanwhile, Fort Myers Beach, one of the hardest hit areas in the state, will be closed for the next week for the safety of the emergency crews on the beach.
We already have electricity slowly returning, as well as water service. We have crews that are working 16 hours a day.
More than 70 people in Florida were killed by Ian's impact, and the damage across the state still has many residents speechless. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Florida on Wednesday to survey the damage, but not before they tour Puerto Rico on Monday following Hurricane Fiona.
We owe Puerto Rico a hell of a lot more than they've already got. My administration is working closely with the CBC members to do whatever it takes to help search and rescue, recovery, and rebuilding.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
A large wave of people swept off the sidewalk, leaving several injured in Miami Beach. The hurricane season is at its peak, and South Florida is still feeling the effects of Ian. According to city officials, the surge of water hit Friday around 10:45 a.m. across the pier. 6 people were injured as a result. After closing the park, officials urged the public to stay out of dangerous waters.
The penalty trial for Nicholas Cruz resumes today after proceedings paused due to Hurricane Ian's arrival. The Broward County Courthouse closed Wednesday and Thursday prior to the storm as jurors decide whether the Parkland shooter will receive the death penalty. Cruz pleaded guilty to 17 counts of murder and 17 counts of attempted murder for the 2018 Stoneman Douglas High School shooting.
All eyes on Brazil as the country heads into the second round of presidential elections. Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro and candidate Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva did not secure the minimum 50% of the votes yesterday. The election comes amid unprecedented political tension and violence in Brazil. The winner of the runoff election will lead the largest democracy in Latin America and is projected to be announced October 30th.
The Marlins and the Brewers playing a 12-inning thriller.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
They were going up that stairs, and they seem to have done,
Fire damaging the childhood home of a famous family. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Bill is a family man. He invests his money wisely and provides a good life for his children. Just one problem. He often opens emails from senders he doesn't know, and his computer is not password protected. One day, Bill checked his bank account and 94% of malware attacks originate from emails. Don't be like Bill. Take your cybersecurity seriously.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Fierce flames ripping through row homes, one of which belonged to the Wahlberg family. Winds pushed through several neighborhood triple-deckers in Boston's Dorchester neighborhood yesterday, including that one of Mark Wahlberg and his family.
As reporter Emily Mayer from WCVB tells us, it's a place Mark visited while shooting a Netflix movie 4 years ago.
On the orders of Chief Dowling, 6th alarm.
On the back of the house over here, that's where it started.
Lorraine Quinlan knew something was wrong when the fire department was flying down her one-way street from both directions.
They were going up that stairs, and they seem to have done really quickly.
It was around 10 o'clock this morning, the winds howling, when Boston's fire commissioner says wind was pushing flames from house to house.
Mostly in the rear of the building, on the rear porches, but because of the wind, it spread to all 4 of them. 4
triple-deckers were damaged, including 25 Peveril Street.
We're out here in Boston shooting Wonderland, my old crib right here. 25 Peveril Street.
The former home of the Wahlberg family. Mark recording this video on his old front steps in 2018 while filming the movie Wonderland.
It was kind of cool for him to come back.
Lorraine Quinlan has lived across the street her whole life. She knew the Wahlbergs when they lived there and saw Mark while he was back in 2018.
He's nice with everyone, yeah. Everybody likes Mark.
As firefighters worked, the commissioner acknowledged Wahlberg's disdain for the stairs, saying they were a challenge for firefighters too.
He always complained about climbing the stairs, though. We can see everybody said the stairs are tough.
That was Emily Mayer reporting. 1 civilian and 2 firefighters were injured, but thankfully those injuries are minor. The Red Cross pitched in to find temporary shelter for the 15 people who live in the buildings.
The Miami Marlins were able to brew up a win yesterday against the Milwaukee Brewers on the road. The two teams battled it out. Neither were able to outscore the other in a regular 9-inning with 2 runs apiece. The game went on to 12th extra inning, where Miami was able to find the lead and win the game. The final score was Marlins 4, Brewers 3. The Marlins come home to face Atlanta Brewers today at 6:40 p.m.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.